So carrying on with Indians of Kentucky. The Indians of Kentucky. There's a bunch of Indians that were in Kentucky. Black Hoof. Black Hoof was born in Kentucky. Black Hoof was born in Skippy, in the last Shawnee town of Kentucky. Black Hoof. Black Hoof was also known as Katakahasa. Katakahasa. So Katakahasa was the head civil chief of the Shawnee Indians in the Ohio Country, what became the United States of Mexico, or a member of the Macoche division of the Shawnees. Black Hoof was better known as a fierce warrior during the earlier wars between the Shawnee and Anglo-American colonists. Black Hoof claimed to be present at the Battle of Monongahela in 1755 when General Edward Braddock was defeated during the French and Indian War. Little documentary evidence of Black Hoof's life appear in the historical record before 1795. 1795. He probably took part in the Battle of Point Pleasant during Lord Dunmore's war against the Virginia militia in 1774. During the American Revolutionary War, he may have taken part in the siege of Boonesboro in 1778, which was led by Chief Blackfish, as well as the subsequent defense of the Shawnee village of Chillicothe in 1779. In the Northwest Indian War, Black Hoof was defeated by Mad Anthony Wayne, and following the collapse of the Indian Confederation, surrendered in 1795. That was the Battle of Fallen Timbers. That was the last battle, 1794, August 20th, 1794. And then they signed the Treaty of Greenville. And I think actually Black Hoof's name is on it. We have Blue Jacket, or his ex-mark, Pierre Sinois, or Blue Jacket, or Captain Reed. Black Hoof. So Black Hoof, Blue Jacket signed the Treaty of Greenville. I guess they were smashing the submission, they had to, but it sucks. Blue Jacket and Black Hoof. Blue Jacket and Black Hoof. Some other people, they said there was Wyandottes, Delawares, Ottawas, a lot of people signed it. Black King, Grand Glazed King of the Delawares, Red Feather, Anderson, Peakeland, Thomas Adams, Captain Buffalo, Captain Crow, George Washington. There's an Indian named George Washington. Billy Siscombe, L.S. Moses, Crane of the Wyandottes. These are all the people that signed the Treaty of Greenville. The Chippewas, Bad Bird, Massass, and they all signed with their X marks, so they all just put X. I guess other people wrote their name and said that they were actually there. They didn't want to sign their entire name. White Loon, Little Beaver. So it wasn't just Black Hoof and Blue Turtle that signed the Treaty of Greenville. And I'll leave that link actually up. It was the Avalon Project. Which is bullshit. I mean, that's embarrassing. It sucks. You signed a treaty. That's what happens. Indians kept signing treaties, kept saying, thinking the white Americans are going to change their ways. They didn't honor any of the fucking treaties that they signed. The whole treaty deal was just basically bullshit just to get some claim on the land. That's what Henderson was trying to do with Daniel Boone and the Transylvania Company. They tried to get Dragon Canoe all together. Dragon Canoe, the Cherokee, and a bunch of the Cherokee people together so that way they could take Kentucky. Dragon Canoe is also T. Shiu Gansini. He is Dragon Canoe, known to whites as Dragon Canoe. He was a Cherokee war chief. Dragon Canoe is a Cherokee war chief. Actually, he's known to have given Kentucky its dark and bloody ground association. So Dragon Canoe is a Cherokee war chief who led a band of Cherokee against the colonists and United States settlers. Beginning during the American Revolution, his forces were sometimes joined by Upper Muskogee, Chickasaw, Shawnee, and Indians from other Cherokee tribes, along with British loyalists, French, and Spanish agents. A series of conflicts lasted for a decade after the American Revolutionary War were known as the Chickamauga Wars. The Chickamauga Wars! Dragon Canoe is part of the Chickamauga Wars. So the Chickamauga Wars were a series of raids. This is from 1776 to 1794. This is 1776 when, you know, the so-called revolution began. 75 is when they say it began, the battle of the shot heard around the world, Lexington and Concord, 1775. But Chickamauga War, 1776 to 94. Almost 20 years, 18-year-long war. Series of raids, campaigns, ambushes, minor skirmishes, and several full-scale frontier battles, which were a continuation of the Cherokee struggle during and after the American Revolutionary War against encroachment by American frontiersmen from the former British colonies. To the end of the Revolution, the Cherokee fought in part as British allies. After 1786, they also fought along with and as members of the Western Confederacy, organized by Shawnee Chief Tecumseh in an effort to repulse European American settlers from the area west of the Appalachian Mountains. So this is Chief Dragon Canoe. So I think I said it with Black Hoof. Let's see. Black Hoof was born in Kentucky. Black Hoof is a Kentucky, Indiana, Kentucky Shawnee Chief. So Black Hoof is a Shawnee Chief, just like Blackfish and Cornstalk were. Blackfish was War Chief of the Chillicothe Division. Right. So Blackfish and Cornstalk, of course. Cornstalk, we all know Cornstalk. He's a Shawnee chief that was killed the Point Pleasant in 1777. He was the prominent leader of the Shawnee Nation. So Cornstalk, Black Hoof, Blackfish, these are all Shawnee. Remember that. Shawnee! Kentucky is Shawnee, okay? There's some Cherokee, some Chickasaw. Shawnee were everywhere. They're everywhere. So Black Hoof was signed the Treaty of Greenville, which sucks. Black Hoof, that sucks that you signed it. Blue Jacket, that sucks that you signed it too. Little Turtle of the Miamis, like Little Turtle of the Miamis, Black Hoof decided that American Indians needed to adapt culturally to the ways of the whites in order to prevent decimation through warfare. During his later years, Black Hoof became an ally of the United States and was responsible for keeping the majority of the Shawnee Nation from joining Tecumseh's War, which became part of the War of 1812. Man, fuck you, Black Hoof! I don't know. I guess it's weird times back then. You don't know who to side. British, the Americans, the whites, the French, the Spanish. And then you got all the different warring Indian tribes. Which leaders do you follow? You got the Watawwas, or the Senecas, or the Iroquois, or the Shawnee, or Cherokee, or the Chickasaw, or the Yuchi, or the Creek. So I get that it's a crazy time, but damn it! Black Hoof signs the Treaty of Greenville. Black Hoof came out of Kentucky. Black Hoof was born in Skippy. Black Hoof signs the treaty. He surrenders. Then he says that we need to become like the whites. And then he prevents the Shawnee, most of the Shawnee Nation, from joining Tecumseh's War. And Tecumseh's War, which became part of the War of 1812. So you could almost argue that his lack of alliance is what eventually killed him at the Battle of Thames. Tecumseh's War. He's fighting Old Northwest against William Henry Harrison. So Black Hoof did not fight against William Henry Harrison. Black Hoof resisted the policy of Indian removal that the United States implemented soon after the War of 1812. He never signed a removal treaty. He never signed a removal treaty. He never signed a removal treaty, but he did sign the Treaty of Greenville, which is a sort of a removal treaty. And Black Hoof continued to lead his tribe until his death in St. John's, Ohio, in 1831. So he died in Ohio. Ohio, you fucking killed Black Hoof. Boom, there's a hex for you, Ohio. You're gonna fucking kill Black Hoof. Y'all kill Black Hoof. I don't give a fuck if he was a backstabber. Y'all kill your own Uncle Toms. Y'all kill your own people that would side with you guys. Y'all killed Cornstalk, Shawnee Cornstalk. You killed the Shawnee Maloonta. So, and you killed motherfucking Black Hoof. Black Hoof was totally saying that we need to do what you said and was against Tecumseh. He said that his Shawnee were not part of Tecumseh. After his death, the Shawnee were eventually compelled to immigrate to the West. So, he signed the Treaty of Greenville, dies in Ohio, so he actually didn't leave Ohio, so he did have some resistance in him. But, I don't know. They lost and he signed the treaty. Black Hoof's okay. He's no Chief Pluggy, okay? He's no Chief Pluggy or Blackfish. the Chickamauga Wars. Until the end of the Revolution, the Cherokee fought in part as British allies. After 1786, they also fought along with and as members of the Western Confederacy, organized by Shawnee Chief Tecumseh. In an effort to repulse European-American settlers from the area west of the Appalachian Mountains, open warfare broke out in the summer of 1776 between the Cherokee, led by Dragging Canoe. Dragging Canoe said, "Dark and bloody ground. Daniel Boone, Richard Henderson, y'all go ahead and take Kentucky, but it's dark and bloody ground. Nobody's been able to take Kentucky. In fact, Kentucky is just a failed, decrepit civilization living on top of an ancient civilization of which it's made little to no improvement." So, Cherokee, open warfare breaks out 1776 between Cherokee, led by Dragging Canoe, and frontier settlers in East Tennessee. So the Chickamauga Wars is because they're the lower Cherokee, the Chickamauga Cherokee. So the Chickamauga War, this is south. This is in Tennessee and Kentucky and Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. This is deep south. This is Indians from the south, okay? Dragging Canoe and Cherokee. The warfare spread to settlers along the Cumberland River in Middle Tennessee and in Kentucky. The Chickamauga Wars was in Kentucky as well as to the colonies of Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. The earliest phase of the conflicts ended with the treaties of 1777, sometimes called the Second Cherokee War, reference to an earlier Anglo-Cherokee War. The earlier Anglo-Cherokee War was 1758 to 1761. The war with those in the Redcoats, war with the English. So there was an Anglo-Cherokee War. In South Carolina, North Carolina, and Tennessee. So this was not the first time that the Cherokee and the Whites had openly attacked each other. Shawnee's pretty badass, but Cherokee sound pretty badass too. Cherokees are coming, right? They got like a Paul Revere little picture here. So, since Dragging Canoe was the dominant leader in both phases of the conflict, the period is sometimes called Dragging Canoe's War. I like that actually a lot. A lot of the Pontiac's Rebellion, Dragging Canoe's War, Little Turtle's War, the Northwestern Indian Wars, also known as Little Turtle's War. So Little Turtle was main dude in the Northwest Indian War. Northwest Indian War is the one that ended with the Battle of Fallen Timbers and the Treaty of Greenville in 1795. So, also in the Northwest Indian War, you had the Har-Mar campaign and St. Clair's defeat, which were great successes for the Indians that were resisting in the Northwest Indian War, Little Turtle's War. St. Clair's little crucified bitch is one of those powder wig wearing, lighting the loafer. That doesn't matter. He's a pansy. He's too pretty to fight a damn war. Okay, Lord Dunmore, all these motherfuckers. So the Chickamauga Wars, Dragging Canoe's War. Dragging Canoe and his forces fought alongside the American Indians from several other tribes, both in South and in the Northwest, Muskogee Creek and Shawnee. So they fought with the Shawnee. They had the support of first the British, often with the participation of British agents and regular soldiers, and second the Spanish. The Cherokee were among the founding members of the Native Americans Western Confederacy. Although Americans identified the followers of Dragging Canoe as Chickamauga, as distinct from Cherokee, who abided by the peace treaties of 1777, there is no separate tribe or band known as Chickamauga. They identified as Cherokee. So that's another reason why Chickamauga War doesn't sound. That's just some racist shit that the fucking white people come up with. The Chickamauga War. Chickamauga War. It wasn't the Chickamauga War. There's Dragging Canoe's War. There's Dragging Canoe and the Cherokee. The second fucking time the Cherokees fucking fought your ass. Second time Dragging Canoe had to fucking take you ass motherfuckers on. Dragging Canoe says Daniel Boone and Richard Henderson, you can't take Kentucky. That shit's gonna be dark and bloody ground. It's gonna be dark and bloody ground if you take it. It's Dragging Canoe. Dragging Canoe, as we all know, Was a Cherokee war chief. Not sure where he was born. Says Little Tennessee River. He survived smallpox at a young age.